Manju, if you don't mind, can you just repeat the question again?
Yeah, sure. So right now in the ECO, we have like a good number of
Mm-hmm.
tasks for each of the domains.
Mm-hmm.
So what I observed is like I was like just taking some of the mock tests
Mm-hmm.
and found that like a few of these questions are like specifically focusing on the tasks. So initially I have not focused. So due to that, some of the questions I could not like get through. So now
Mm-hmm.
I am just like going back to these tasks for each of these domains and
Mm-hmm.
knowledge specific to each of the domains. So just wanted to
Can you take
understand.
one example, please? Can you take one example as to when you
Mhm.
when you're kind of saying that there is a task based? See, understand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
When it comes down to entire program management,
Hmm.
see, think when you're thinking about PMP back in the day was very focused on ITTOs, okay,
Hmm.
input tool technologies and output, okay, tool
Hmm.
techniques, sorry, not technologies, okay, it was
Hmm.
very much focused on that. The PMP version 7 also had a blend of it, okay,
Hmm.
as to what goes in, what goes out, and so on. But when you are talking about eco, see, exam content outline, people should read it. But the
Hmm.
point that I always have with PGMP certification is, even if you try to memorize it, unless you've got photographic memory, you won't be able to memorize each and every word out of it. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
so the focus that you need to primarily have in this is how best can you understand
Hmm.
what is being done in there rather than memorizing it word to word. Because I'm telling you, right, see,
Hmm.
unlike PMP, here you do not have designated breaks.
Hmm.
Okay, now that is an advantage as well as a disadvantage. Okay,
Hmm.
I'll say as an advantage, what, see, tomorrow let's just feel, right, in PMP only after 60 questions you could take a break. Okay,
Hmm.
here it
Hmm.
is not like that. Here you
Hmm.
can take a break whenever you want. The problem
Right.
that you have is the moment you take a break,
Yeah.
the clock does not stop.
Right.
Okay, in PMP the clock will stop for 10 minutes.
Right. Right.
Here the
Right. Right.
clock is not stopping.
Right.
So again, right, there are, however, I always advocate that you, anyone who's appearing for PGMP exam, please take
Hmm.
a break. Take that 5 minutes break, because this question, PGMP is a lot difficult as compared to PMP. I understand that there might be some people who might find it easier, but
Hmm.
majority of the people find PGMP much more difficult than PMP. And something that I mentioned in the videos in the past as well is, this is something that will take easily more than, uh, what can I say, at least 2 to 3 times the difficulty level of what PMP exam is. Okay, because A is there is not that many good question banks out there, which
Yeah.
was the reason I'm doing all of this, right? Because
Right. Right.
I literally struggled.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
single question answered by the same group across multiple videos had different answers. Okay,
Hmm.
now I can understand it's a very difficult thing to be in, but bringing it back to your question over here, right, how to
Hmm.
handle these kind of things, I would suggest that understand it,
Okay.
understand what is the impact it carries, understand why that particular task is happening at that particular
Okay.
position, rather than
Hmm.
memorizing it. Okay,
Hmm.
because I'll tell you a flip side of the memorization also. See,
Hmm.
in PMP what happens is, waterfall, everything is sequential.
Right.
Okay, PGMP, it's not sequential, it is
Hmm.
iterative.
Right.
There is some element of sequence. I'm not saying that you can directly jump in from your definition phase to
Hmm.
directly delivery to directly closure phase. You cannot jump that way. So there is
Hmm.
a sequence to it, but mostly it is at iterative.
Hmm.
Okay, it's
Okay.
not straightforward, so every time you're kind of going back. So
Hmm.
what I would suggest, right, for anyone who's kind of coming from the PMP mindset, who might have
Hmm.
given PMP recently, okay,
Hmm.
I would
Hmm.
suggest that in PMP you would always think like agile as well, because PMP latest set of exam was a
Hmm.
mix of agile as well, the one that I gave. Okay,
Hmm.
so I
Hmm.
would say that bring that agile mindset in here, that if nothing works, or rather if you're doing something and let's say it's not working, you need to iterate back, okay,
Right.
to kind of get
Right.
it done. So think it from that
Hmm.
perspective. Now, can you take an example, Manju, around which task that you felt
Hmm.
was a bit difficult, or any I don't want you to give me a reference
Yeah,
to the question, but
yeah.
I want to
I
understand the
uh,
confusion that you had on the question so that I can better try
yeah.
and answer that.
Right. I'm not able to like recall the question specifically which I have taken,
Uh-huh.
but what I'm observing from between that ECO and standard is like in the
Mm,
ECO, I could see like task number one, two, three, all those things.
right.
But when I look into the standard, I'm not seeing like any reference like for each of the tasks.
Hmm.
The standard is like going through the complete step by step details, right?
Mm.
So I'm like trying to find out like how the tasks and standards are like correlated.
So what I would suggest to you is,
Mm-hmm,
uh, when I understand what when you're saying standard, my suggestion to you is think about domain.
mm-hmm.
Okay, so there was one slide. If you go into one of my earlier videos, there was one
Okay,
slide which specifically went through how you have the different domains within program lifecycle.
right.
Okay, now within those domains, what are the different tasks or activities that you do, which includes obviously
Mm-hmm.
your initiation, your planning, and so on. Okay, sorry, I'm
Right.
just using a bit of a PMP wordings
Yeah,
over
yeah.
here, but
Right,
not necessarily that you would see those wordings over there, right? You will have
right.
definition, initial scoping, and all those things. So
Yeah.
the word will be slightly different. Just to give you the context of it, right?
Mm-hmm,
So what I would suggest is go back to my video wherein I have explained the program life cycle, wherein I've
mm-hmm,
broken down those domains, and then I'm
mm-hmm,
talking through what are the different activities happen within those. Okay,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
that is what will
mm-hmm.
help you paint the picture. But if you're thinking that just reading eco alone will help you
Mm-hmm.
get the picture, probably not. Okay,
Right,
probably
right.
not, because what will happen is you will end up getting confusing of doing match the following. So
Mm-hmm,
rather, go back to that video wherein I have kind of put in the domains and put in the different things that happen within those domains for the given program lifecycle. That will help you quickly build that picture in. Okay, and also,
okay.
Manju, try and see a video wherein I have actually spoken about the different documents that get created in the different program lifecycle elements.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, yes.
because
Yeah, yeah.
majorly your documents are going to be inputs as well as outputs to other things.
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
mm-hmm.
so start with these two, and let's just say that if you still get kind of getting lost in the journey, then probably what I can do is next session that we have. Okay,
Mhm, mhm.
I can try and do a refresher on it. Okay,
Okay,
but
okay,
go through
okay.
the video. Okay, see, the reason for
Definitely.
me to kind of put these videos out was because, again, right, I cannot be 100% available all the time, so at least the videos
Definitely.
are out there wherein you guys can go ahead and refer. Okay,
Okay, okay,
cool.
okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Just because of my, I was like trying to see, open
Right.
the standard
Uh-huh.
because as I mentioned earlier, I went
Mm.
through the standard like a couple of times.
Right.
So I just opened the ECO because like everyone is like
Mm.
ECO is the like a
Mm.
guide where like we'll be able to like see the how the questions will be organized, right?
Right, right.
When I the tasks list of tasks came, but a list of the task does not have any reference in the
No, no. So there is a
means it is
reference.
inside the
There, Manju,
uh,
there is a
mm,
reference. If you go back to my video,
okay,
okay, I have
okay,
tried to get that
okay,
reference joined up so that it becomes a bit more easier.
okay,
Okay, it's not
okay,
like it's
okay,
not like the
okay.
standard is not having any reference at all. Probably,
Mm-hmm.
see, here's the thing, right? The standard is very guideline oriented. Okay,
Right.
so it is not like a cheat sheet which will help you quickly do match the following and build up your understanding on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is very much guidance
Mm-hmm.
oriented. So it's not, the standard is not only for you to give an exam. The standard is there for day-to-day
Right.
usage as well. Okay. So
Right.
again,
Right.
right? While yes, we could always suggest improvements to PMI on how they could make the study material a bit more palatable. Okay, but
Mm-hmm.
go back to that video, have a look into it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, once you have
Mm-hmm.
had a look into it, hopefully that should paint a picture to you. And let's just say you're
Mm-hmm.
not able to get it. Okay, it's still
Okay.
not clear. Then probably next session,
Mm-hmm.
right, which we have next
Okay.
weekend, I'll cover that.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
cool,
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
awesome. Okay, so while I have you today, let's go through 5 questions at least.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So last time I think we went to 105. Now this time we're going to go to 106. Okay, please
Okay.
start.
Yeah. I would go with C.
C for Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain why?
Uh, it's a maintenance activity. In the program management, we will be having program and components, right?
Mm-hmm.
Program and components and activities.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not able to see any reference about the supporting activities in this option. So what I'm thinking is like a subtask under the largest project.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's not largest project. Right? Yeah,
Yeah, why not the smallest project?
not. It's a more of an operational activity, right? So I'm
Okay.
just thinking like since it
Okay.
is an operational activity, they are categorically called out. So it should be like task or activity. So I'm not. It should be a distinct component under the. I'm just like
Okay. So let's
okay,
take a simplistic view on this, right? Okay,
okay,
because see, normally the way we understand PWBS is we say that yeah, this is something that we have, wherein we are kind of documenting all the components in it. Components would
yeah,
include projects, sub-programs, but one thing we forget is any kind of other supporting activity.
right,
Okay, now what they have done is that supporting activity, the question is just confusing you operational activity.
yeah,
Okay, and then further it is saying that the maintenance of legacy system until the new one goes live.
right,
Okay, now understand in simple terms, right? What
hmm,
will your program necessarily have? We spoke about this earlier also. So on one side, sorry, on one side, what you will have is you will have your components, which is your project. So let's say project
yeah,
is over here. Okay.
right,
Sorry, I'll have to take a bigger font. Okay. So let's say you got project over here. Okay.
right.
Then after project, you will have sub programs. Okay.
Subprograms
And
and
then
supporting
then we have supporting activities.
activities.
Okay. Now, when you are looking into this particular question, right, what I would suggest is understand what is being asked. Okay. What is being asked is something very, very simple. Okay. They're saying that, yes, you have a program, okay, which has three activities. Okay.
Right.
Which has, sorry, rather four activities, not three. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which has four activities. Three of them are projects. So they don't have a subprogram. So cancel this. They don't have a
Can.
subprogram. Okay.
Yeah.
So they have three project activities, and also
Right.
they have one operational activity, which is your supporting activity,
Right.
right? And what is a supporting activity over here? Yeah, till the new system goes live, they are kind of supporting a legacy system.
Right.
Okay, which happens, right? Because when you're kind of transitioning from an older system to a new system, you might have to
Mm-hmm.
run both the systems in parallel for some time. Okay,
Yeah.
till things stabilize. So technically, it is only saying that. Now,
Mm.
with this, right, the confusion that comes in over here is it's an operational activity. Now, we have always thought program supporting activity is only for the program.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is where this particular term, this particular question, right, is playing with you. So you don't
Right.
have to go into that kind of an overthinking around it. Oh, why
Mm-hmm.
operational activity? No, it is saying
Mm-hmm.
very simple, right? You have three large component projects and
Right.
one small recurring operational activity. That's it. Don't read additional details over here what that is. So three
Okay.
project, one supporting activity. Simply it's been
Mm-hmm.
asked is how should the legacy maintenance be represented? Again, legacy maintenance. What is legacy maintenance? Operational activity. Okay.
Operational activity.
So how do you normally show that in this example over here? And let me clean all of this. Okay. Let us draw
Mm-hmm.
fresh. Okay. So I'm gonna draw one, two, three, and just
Right.
for this, I'm gonna color differently.
Right.
Four. Okay.
Right.
So everything that you break down in your scope, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you record that into PWS,
Yeah.
okay, because job of PWS is that, right? Now? to
Yeah.
break it down.
Right.
So you broke it down into three projects and one supporting activity, right?
Right.
Now, with your earlier option that you had chosen, it should be a subtask under the largest project. Why?
Mm, I'm not able to find
Exactly. No, no, no.
any
Hold on.
alter.
Hold on. Hold
Yeah.
on. Hold on. Okay. So let's say all the three are equal.
Right.
Then what? Okay. So
Yeah.
you're getting the confusion that this option gives, right? Normally, yes,
Right.
what we would do is in day-to-day life, especially in India, you might actually just club in a small
Mhm.
component into a bigger project, because obviously for some valid reasons you might just do
Obvious
that.
reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next is it should not be in the PWS because it is operations, not project. Okay.
No.
Now see,
Yes.
understand over here, they are
Mm.
already saying that it's a activity which is part of which is part of your scope. Okay.
Right.
So going back and questioning that no, no, you should remove it again is wrong. They have already given that. It is an activity. Simple as that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
It should be hidden in management reserve. Why?
No.
Why hiding something?
No, that's not
How's
like a.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like it's not covert operations, right? So B also goes wrong. So that only leaves us with A. Okay, it should be
Yeah.
a distinct component. Why? Because you can see this over here, na?
Right. Right. Right.
What will a
Mm.
program have? A PWC have,
Right.
PWBS have, sorry,
Right.
have. It will have projects, subprograms, and components.
Mm.
Okay, components in this case, sorry, I should not say components. I should say supporting activities, and this is a
Okay.
supporting activity. So hence, A is the correct one.
Right. Here, like the region I have not selected is sustainment. Sustainment is like I assume like always, yes, once the program is delivered, then we'll be like having sustainment activities.
I
Here, like
agree
it
with
is,
you. I agree with you. So
uh,
this is
uh,
where, right? This is where the question is more centered towards how PWS is functioning, not how your
mm,
benefits life cycle is working.
okay, okay.
Okay.
Mm.
So because PWBS is very oriented towards your program life cycle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yes, this is a deliberate, difficult question. Okay. To put you into
Mm.
that thinking mode. Okay. And
Yeah.
sometimes, right, you will get these kind of questions which will confuse you. So all that
Mm.
you need to do is you need to pick up exactly what you need to read. Three large
Oh,
components, one small recurring activity. How should this be represented in PWS? Simple. It should be a separate component. You cannot just club it anywhere. You cannot hide it. Okay. You cannot club it. And you cannot say that no, no, this is not part of PWS. No, but they have told you
mm.
it is part of PWS.
Right, 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 right.
Okay.
Yeah, the only confusion was yes, we have a project program is not delivered, right? So then how
Oh,
that?
no, 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 Manju. The point, and again, Manju, humble request, right? Go back to my videos. Okay.
Okay.
See, a
Mm.
program is not like a project which is done in 6 months to a year. A program is going to be much larger in duration. Okay. Let's say a
Okay.
program is 10 years. Do you think
Mm.
the program will be able to deliver
Okay.
benefit only in the end of the 10th year?
So
People
over
will
a
lose
period of time,
patience.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
over a period of time, right? Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So that's where, right, you just need to stick what is being asked, what component is being focused over here in the question. PWBS, this is what is there. How should this
Okay.
be represented? Simple as that.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah. Got
Please don't use your operational ways in PGMP. That will never work. Believe
okay.
me,
Okay.
believe me,
Mm.
uh, uh, I've got a member who faced a challenge. So hence my suggestion over here is not to use that. Okay,
Okay.
cool,
Okay. Mm.
awesome. Okay, cool. Any further questions on this before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, the wording around sustainment branch was like a misleading.
And you will have those kind of things. That is
Yeah.
perfectly fine. Okay,
Mm.
that is
Yeah.
perfectly fine. You might have
Yeah.
those.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
next one.
I'm just thinking.
Hmm.
I think C, right?
Okay, tell me why.
Because benefit realization for process change must be scheduled after the infrastructure. Because without infrastructure, we'll not be able to like do anything, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
See, it's a simple thing, right? The
yeah, yeah,
question itself has the answer.
yeah.
Cannot yield benefits until the infrastructure is live.
Live. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So one needs to finish, then
yeah,
only the other one will be able to realize the benefits.
yeah.
It's a simple question around sequencing. Now the
Right,
reason some people might get a bit confused in this is because we suddenly have been thinking everything about agile.
right.
Okay. And with agile, you might kind of bring up some kind of an agile based answer to it.
Hmm.
Okay. Or you might actually go ahead and merge them into a single project. Why?
Hmm. Yeah,
Why would you do that?
that's not like a ideal.
Okay. So
Yeah.
simultaneously, incrementally, okay.
Hmm.
So this is where right you will have to take a bit of a step back, okay,
Right.
and think about what has been asked. What has been asked is very simple. There is a dependency.
Right.
As simple as that. There is a dependency. One thing cannot happen. So for example, right, you need to there is a new building that you have built up. Okay.
Hmm.
Until the building is built, how will you initiate process change?
Yeah.
You cannot you cannot do process change in thin air, right? You need a
Hmm.
physical thing. You need a building over there. Okay. Then only you'll
Yeah.
be able to do it. Okay. So the reason, like it mentioned, people might actually get up confused because they might think too much agile, and they'll come out, no, 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 we should do them together. No, the question says you can't.
Yeah. It's a dependency.
It's a dependency, clear cut. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's
Here
and
I have small clarification.
mm-hmm,
So for the dependency related scenarios, right? We have
mm-hmm,
like a dependent specific matrix is there, and we do have like a network diagram kind of what tools are there, right?
mm-hmm,
So for the program specific scenarios,
mm-hmm.
uh, what is ideal? Because in the case of
So
project
Manju,
management, we
Manju, the point over here, right? Let
Mhm.
me. I think someone had asked me this question last week or a couple of weeks back. Okay,
Okay,
all the tools that you have been able to use in your project management, you'll be using the same tools over here.
okay.
Okay, it's just that the scope of using those tools is going to be much bigger. I'll give you an example.
Hmm.
You will be using Gantt chart in
Yeah,
your project management.
right,
Okay, some people will modify that Gantt chart and make it call it as a project roadmap.
right.
Same thing, program roadmap here. No, see this over here.
Uh, mm,
Same thing here.
okay.
Another
Mm-hmm.
question: stakeholder register.
Mm-hmm.
You have that in project management.
Right.
Same thing over here. Stakeholder register here also.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Risk register.
Mm-hmm.
You have that in project management. Same thing
Mm-hmm.
over here. Risk register also.
Okay.
Okay. So
So,
all those things, whatever you have used in project, you can use it here also. It's not like that. No, no, no. This is only project specific. I will never be able to use that in program. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay. Go ahead.
okay. So my worry was like at the dependency dependency matrix, right? Dependency matrix and the network. Both of them are dependency structure matrix and this network, right?
Mhm.
Both of them are going to like support the same activity. When we have like a both of them like supporting the same kind of a need, right?
Mhm.
Yes, we just need to like see if it is project management. obviously we'll be going for the network diagram where like preceding, succeeding, all those things will be
You will do that
normally
over
given.
here also. What is your program roadmap doing, by the way?
Yeah,
One of the key
same
reasons
thing.
of your program roadmap is to show the dependency also, right?
Right, 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 right. So
It shows
from
you the
then
dependency, it shows you the sequencing. Exactly, that's a purpose.
okay, okay. So the same thing is like even done in the dependency structure matrix, right? I'm just like trying to see if options as like having dependency structure matrix and network diagram and something part of something, right? So then
Mhm.
what is ideal from the program management
See,
perspective,
from
right?
program management perspective, okay,
Mm-hmm.
again, right? So you're looking at 10,000 feet level, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to understand what are the different components I have within my program, and
Mm-hmm.
what are the key milestones I'll be achieving by executing those components, okay,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
what is the interrelationship between them, program
Mm-hmm.
roadmap is a graphical representation of that,
Right,
okay. Now, will you only use program roadmap? You might use 100 other tools also, okay.
right.
But according to the standard, program roadmap gives you a single representation of all of it at a summary level, okay.
Okay, okay.
That is what the program roadmap is for, okay.
Mm.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, got it.
Cool.
They will normally confuse us with such kind of scenarios.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And that's the reason, right? I'm putting these questions up so that you think it through. Okay. Cool.
right. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's move on to the next question. 108. This is a very simple question.
Yeah. B, right?
Yeah. The question itself gives it, right? Why do
Yeah.
you have a
Yeah.
program
Yeah.
charter?
So it's like
Okay. Because
straightforward.
it officially gives the authority to
Authority,
utilize the resources.
resources, right?
Okay. Until that is there, the function manager can just ignore it, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They can just
You
ignore
don't
your
have the
request.
authority. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. And the other
Mm.
things also, right? The business case will expire. That's a complete wrong
No,
thing. Doesn't work
that's
out.
totally
You
irrelevant.
will not
Yeah.
get paid. That is
No, that.
also true. Okay. In case if you are a consultant over there, obviously, right? Unless you are authorized as a program manager, you won't get paid. So that is also true. It's not that it is false. The roadmap will be invalid. Even that is also true. Okay. But
Yeah.
the thing is,
Yeah.
you will have to find out what is the best answer.
Right.
Okay. The best
Yeah.
answer is obviously uh, you
Right.
don't have the authority to apply the resources. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. Let's move on to the second last question for the day.
I'd like to go for D.
Good. Why?
Yeah, you are not ignoring the other thing, right? We
Hmm.
are we are not ignoring. So we are trying to map their outputs to programs acceptance criteria.
Exactly. See,
Yeah.
for us, what is important is, are we getting the outcome with the
Mhm.
described quality management standards that we have?
Right.
Okay. We are not affixed whether it should be ISO, Six Sigma, or any other set of activities in there. Okay.
Right.
Now, looking at this, right? Ignore the partner quality standards as they are external. Why?
No, you can't do that.
Ignore itself begins with very wrong
Yeah.
wrong answer.
Negative kind of
Negative.
things, right?
Force the partner to switch to ISO 9001.
So not
The partner says no, I won't. Then what?
yeah, yeah,
Okay, doesn't work that way. You can't force it.
yeah,
Change the entire program to Six Sigma. Do you even have the authority to do that?
yeah.
No. What do you have? You want to ensure that the program is delivering as per the quality management plan. So,
Yep.
fine, do whatever you want. However, my criteria is this: it should match this criteria. If it doesn't match this, then I've got a problem. As simple
Okay.
as that.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is the most collaborative approach as well, right? You're not forcing them to change. At the same
Right.
time, what you're saying is, I have my acceptance criteria in here. You need to meet it. Okay, do
Yeah.
whichever way it works out for you. As simple as that. That's what this question is primarily focusing on. Okay, cool.
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and that's what we have as an answer on the screen. Okay, we'll move to the last question of the day. There you go.
Okay. I would like to go with the C.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Uh, the first one is like asking regulatory body what they want, right? Already they have like even like a high tech engagement. They know like whatever they need, right?
So that's
So
a very
that,
good point, right? That's a very good point, and let's spend 10 seconds on it. Okay, when the question clearly has explained that the engagement is a high touch, so they already know this.
yeah,
Okay, so going back and saying ask them again is stupid. Okay,
yeah,
next one.
yeah. And ignoring the mismatch and a different document that does not look good.
Does not
Just
look
like
good. And why
yeah,
not? Why not? Let's talk about it, right? See, your
yeah,
stakeholder engagement talks about how you're going to build and maintain relationship with your
right,
stakeholders.
yeah,
Okay, communication is one of the ways on how you maintain that relationship.
hmm,
So let's say if your relationship now has changed from a monthly report to a daily face to face or in person catch up.
yeah,
Okay, good. I made a change in the engagement. I also need to now make that change in the communication, because I can't go and communicate monthly when they are
hmm,
actually expecting me to engage with them
right,
on a regular basis. And when we are engaging with them, we are not just getting together for a quick pantry talk, right? It's a regulatory body, so obviously they would have certain communication requirements in there. So what we are saying is, with the change in
hmm,
engagement plan, a natural impact will be there on the communication plan as well. Okay, so
yeah,
hence you can't ignore this. Normally your
yeah,
communication and engagement plan will go hand in hand. Okay, your engagement talks about the relationship, your communication talks about how you communicate in that relationship. Okay,
okay, okay.
change the engagement plan to low touch to save money. I'm sorry.
That's,
Yeah, that is exactly stupid. It doesn't work
yeah,
that way. Okay,
yeah,
it's a regulatory body. Tomorrow you might end up losing the license. Okay,
right, right, right.
so just to save some money, it doesn't work out that way. Okay,
Hmm.
cool,
Yeah,
perfect. So yes, so that kind of completes our set of 5 questions for today. Any other
hmm,
questions you had for me? Happy to take them up now.
yeah. Just like a more of a
Hmm.
some guidance around
Sure.
the additional sources of what inputs which we have to consider, right? Sometimes like we feel like standard is like bit of a routine and boring, or like not like a keep us connected,
No,
right?
see, here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm,
unfortunately, standards, just not PMI, but
yeah.
standards are very guidance based, and guidance are very text based, if I have to
Uh,
say that. Okay.
heavily heavy.
So, and again, everyone has a different learning style. Believe me, I can't read text.
Yeah.
Means in the sense, I can't read textbooks. So I'm
Yeah.
much more as a practical learner rather than a textual read it, understand it, and then yeah, I got it. I'm not that
All
kind
right.
of a person. See, and this is where, right, uh, especially with PMI, one thing that I've experienced with the two exams that I've given, both
Mm-hmm.
PMP and PGMP,
Mm-hmm.
it's how good you understand it, and how can you bring that understanding when you're reading the question in the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've seen members. I'll talk about PMP for a minute over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've seen members who have been excellent in their study hall scores. Okay, which
Mm-hmm.
is, if you do study hall, people normally say you will easily, you will get that mindset, you will build up your understanding, and you'll be able to clear PMP. But I've
All
seen
right.
people who have got fantastic scores in study hall, but yet they have failed in the actual exam. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
with PGMP, understand questions are limited, and this is
Mm-hmm.
where you will have to kind of build up your understanding. Look
Mm-hmm.
into videos like some of those that I have posted. Okay, and in
Mm-hmm.
case if you have certain questions, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think the session that I'm trying to conduct every weekend is to kind of get everyone to understand those particular sections, or answer their questions on it. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so bring a concept and say what you have not understood. Okay, that is
Okay.
the only way I had learned. That's I hope it will help you if you can learn it that way. Unless, like I said, right, there are some people who can just read from the text and understand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Because that's where, like, sometimes we will get stuck, right?
Oh,
We
that's
will
fine.
not be,
That's
yeah.
fine. That's fine. Have you
Mm.
scheduled the exam, Manju?
Yeah, I'm just like contemplating at least to consistently hit that 90 plus
Hmm.
in the mock test,
Right.
and like then do something.
Perfect, perfect.
So,
So in that case, right, Manju,
mm,
definitely utilize these weekend sessions that I'm conducting, and
mm,
try and find out if there are any more mentors who can help you in the journey. Okay, because
mm,
again, right, you don't know what how people are going to be available, not
mm,
available. Everyone has their own set of things to focus upon.
right.
Okay,
Mm,
and
mm,
at least in these sessions when you join in, okay, feel
mm,
free to kind of bring those questions in, that you had this question. Okay, because I am driving these sessions only for aspirants, so that they can benefit out of it, because I'm not getting anything out of this. Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that
so yeah, so
that's
you
really
take
helpful.
the benefit of the session.
Right.
In case you believe that there is something very very big, very very urgent, you've got my email ID as well. Okay,
Right.
drop me a
Right.
note. Okay, saying
Okay.
that, can you cover this in the next session, because the thing is,
Mhm.
see, I'll have to create a material for it. Okay, I won't have
Okay.
ready,
Okay.
because I won't have covered all the 100 scenarios that people will have, right? So
Right.
drop me a note, and then I can try and cover it in the next session. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
cool.
So your email ID is there in the presentation, whatever
Yeah, yeah. So
YouTube.
you go into any of my videos, my email ID is mentioned over there.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. 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 That will be
okay.
helpful.
Well,
So
what I can
one
do
more.
is, just hold
Yeah.
on. What I can do is,
Mm,
I think I can write a chat in here. I
yeah.
think I had a
That.
chat option. Yeah, I do have a chat
Yeah.
option. Yeah,
Yeah.
just give me
Yeah.
a second. So
Yeah.
this is my email ID. Okay, and just save it. Okay,
Mm,
in case you have any specific item to cover, we can definitely kind of cover that. Okay,
yeah. Definitely.
you should have got my email ID now. Okay,
Right. I got it. I got
awesome.
it. So just
Mm-hmm,
I was like just playing with some of these topics. So
mm-hmm,
in the last few days.
mm-hmm,
So again, here like what I observed is even I was going through some of the blogs,
mm-hmm,
even wherever like you have posted, right, like that.
mm-hmm.
So I'm finding like some comments like some of the questions are like not grammatically correct. So they
Okay,
will,
two things
you
over
know,
here, right? Two things
yeah,
over here.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh, so let me address the grammatical error
Mm-hmm,
that you get in exam.
mm-hmm,
Yes, there have been, even when I gave the exam, there were around 4 or 5 questions which were not grammatically structured correctly.
mm-hmm,
Okay.
mm-hmm,
Now, PGMP is still not as widely popular as PMP. Okay. Wherein PMP, the quality of questions, the grammar, and so on is a lot better. See,
mm-hmm,
Manju, yes, that is a fact. To answer that, yes, that is a fact. The reason I can say that, I faced it as well. Okay.
mm-hmm,
I faced it knowing that I was going for the exam. I faced it. Okay.
mm-hmm,
Now,
mm-hmm.
should that really? bother you, I would suggest no.
Okay.
Okay, because see, anyways, that's beyond your control. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
yeah.
see, you never know, right? PMI might be listening to the feedback, and they might have already improved on it. So why
Mm-hmm.
worry about something which you can't control? Rather, you focus more on the concepts which you can kind of focus on,
Right,
and get your understanding correct so that you can answer the question. So yeah, just switch it to what you can control. Okay,
right, right.
cool.
One more question around the same topic. It's not exactly the same,
Hmm.
around the questions. So, how much verbiage will be there in
Okay.
the question,
So
right?
everyone will have different experience, Manju. So not that what I have will be the same as others. So
Mm-hmm.
on an average, what I've seen when I gave the exam, and wow, it's been now around 7 months, 8 months,
Oh,
8 months.
oh,
Okay. So when I gave the exam, most of the questions were 3 sentence long. Okay.
mm,
Uh,
mm,
most of the questions, if I have to kind of break it down in this way, I think 60% of questions were around 3 sentence long, and yeah, 40% were single line sentences, single line questions. Okay,
mm-hmm.
but once again, right, Manju, don't stress upon how big or how small the question is, because sometimes people say this: bigger the question, easier way to find the answer,
Mm-hmm.
and smaller the question, difficult to find the answer. So again, right? So once again, can't control that. Okay, don't bother about it.
Okay, okay. Because this is more from the time management perspective. So
Yes.
you have any like guidelines like how to tackle? Maybe you can take it this as a, like a one more session where like how the long sessions and the
What I will
small
do
sessions.
is, Manju, what I will
Yeah.
do one better.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Probably not the next session, but
Mm-hmm.
let's say once you or anyone else who is joining these sessions,
Mm-hmm.
if they feel that they are ready,
Mm-hmm.
okay, or they are
Mm-hmm.
almost ready, what
Yeah.
I'll try to do is I'll introduce the clock,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Okay.
and I'll put a clock for 70 seconds,
Okay.
and I will ask you to give me the answer within 70 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, basis how fast you are able to respond, I will
Mm-hmm.
then be able to zoom in
Mm-hmm.
and address that particular point. Okay, so that you are able to speed up. Okay,
Oh, okay. Yeah. That will
because
be really helpful.
yeah, because generalistic rules are there. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give
Yeah.
you a simple example. Generalistic rules are there. People will say the question is like 3 or 5 sentences. Read the last sentence and then directly go to the answers and then come back and read the entire question.
Right.
That's a general suggestion that everyone gives.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
does that work? Does work for some people, does not work for other
Yeah.
people.
It
Okay,
depends.
so it
Mm.
totally depends. With PGMP, with the a mix, more subjectivity in it, sometimes it will not
Yeah.
work for you.
All
Okay,
right.
so that's a general suggestion. You can take it. Okay, and see how it
Mm.
works out for you. But my
Mm.
question more over here is, when I'm presenting a question to you, are you able to answer that within 70 seconds? So probably in
Mm.
the next or rather upcoming sessions, once you or anyone else who joins in, if they feel that they're comfortable, I'll put a clock in there, and then we'll zoom in specifically as to why you took longer to
Yeah.
answer a question which you should not have. Okay, or which, sorry, I've used a stronger term, or rather which you can improve upon, so that the next time
Definitely.
you don't
Definitely.
have to spend as much. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, that helps. I think today, if I just remember right,
Hmm.
except for one question, I think I have taken little
Yeah,
longer
yeah.
time. So most of them, like it is within 60 seconds or 70
Yes,
seconds.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that speed, right, Manju,
Mm.
it comes in because
Mm.
you're now understanding how to read and rhythm of how the
Mm.
PMI says it.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
cool.
Mm. Okay. Yeah. That's really, really helpful. Thanks for your time and our guidance. So this is really invaluable.
No worries. I'm just doing my bit. Okay. You have a wonderful evening. I'll speak to you next week. Okay. Take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you. Have a
Bye.
good one. Bye bye.